iconic thing about those new cards from Doom of Dimensions is they are paired up with one of the oldest cards in the game, which, thank you, Leo, you put on the screen there with the Mystical Space Typhoon, of course.
This is the center card of the deck. All of those cards can add Mystical Space Typhoon to your hand. All of those quick play spells and also the monsters as well. They have access to that there. And this is Radiant Typhoon Vision, a card you can see in Sky Striker.
I'm pretty sure it's Chant. Oh wait, no, you're right. My bad. It's Vision, yeah. And we're using the draw effect of Vision. Ooh.
Yep, you can draw 2 cards and then discard 1 quick play spell or a Mystical Space Typhoon from your hand.
I think it's a quick
A Radiant Typhoon card or a quick play spell, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like an Allure of Darkness, but for a quick play.
Yeah, it's really, really strong. And now Runick Dispelling, because we are pairing this all up with Runics. It has been awfully quiet for the Runick decks in the past, also partly due to Malice being such a strong deck always in the format. Malice, not that big of a factor anymore, so maybe it is time again for some Runick decks.
And I really want to see the approach that Runix has taken through the new format that we are experiencing in this YCS, meaning that since now time is on the round and both players will eventually get match loss, I want to see how Runic can adjust to it and how to play through the time pressure.
Yeah, and that is Radiant Typhoon Eldam, which is now just being special summoned onto the field. That is a level 3 monster, but I don't think it's that much about that particular effect of the card right now, because I think we're just searching for another Radiant Typhoon with this one.
Yeah, you can search for a Radiant Typhoon monster, and there are plenty of cards you can choose from. You can choose for a Crosea, for example, that searches you a spell card or a Megala, but there are also the big boss monsters like Radiant Typhoon Varuron, the Vibrant Vortex, or Radiant Typhoon Phonix, the Great Flame. Those cards really interact with your opponent if you're activating quick play spells, so those are powerful pieces to end your field on.
And there is Sven now as well. Sven, another level 3 monster, and now with 2 level 3 monsters on the field, I think the fact that there are level 3 monsters may actually become a little more relevant, as there is rank 3 Exceed monsters in the extra deck of Florian, which surely we're going to end on.
Dante.
I think I have to disappoint you on that one. We will have something cool coming though, but give it a moment. Also, to just generally break down what those Radiant Typhoon cards are about. So you see there is multiple quick play spell cards, and that's also why they work so well with Runix, because of course Runix also with a bunch of quick play spell cards in its arsenal. And whenever you activate a quick spell, you can just special summon out those Radiant Typhoon monsters from your hand. So sometimes Runic decks can struggle a little bit with creating monsters on the field, with setting up monsters for the opponent's turn, and just usually only relies on spell cards. But here you get monsters out so easily, and they're so versatile in what they're doing, so you just add a really different layer to the deck.
And to be honest, one thing that I just noticed and I really like about this strategy is that Runic obviously hurt a lot against Cosmic Cyclone, yet Radiant Typhoon can be changed to any quick play spell that is activated in the field. So even if our opponent has a Cosmic Cyclone, for example, we can still summon our big monsters.
Yep.
And I want to see right now how Florian will choose to advance his game state, meaning that yes, he will summon Typhoon Crosea into the field, and I want to see which Exist monster potentially will access through his 2 level 3s on the field.
I would say a card that I like is Cicada King. Oh, Dominus Impulse is being used here. Crosea stays in hand for the moment. This might take away a critical combo piece for Florian here, but we're going to go for an overlay here.
Rank 3, I told you about it, and that is one that you also haven't seen in a while. Number 75 it is, Bamboozling Gossip Shadow, which can just turn one of the opponent's effect into an effect that both players will draw a card off.
But now we have passed the turn, and Christopher just gets to draw a card for his draw phase, opens up the main phase, and shows his opponent, okay, you wanted to draw cards, right? This is how we do it. We draw one in draw phase and then immediately throw out an extravagance to the field to draw 2 cards here. Pot of Greed has successfully been activated if you do not care about your extract too much. Checks it out a little bit and now gets 2 free cards in hand.
And to be fair, I think that when you activate Impulse and then the Extravagance can only mean one thing in the current meta state, and yes, Mitsurugi.
Yeah.
So I think that Florian already knows.
From the hand, and there is Amino Habakiri in the hand. Murakumo, my bad. And that's always crucial when you have that hard drawn, because your opponent, when you're ritual summoning from the hand, isn't necessarily expecting it. Usually you summon it out from the deck, but here it already was in the hand, and that makes it come in really, really nicely here. And we can even chain block the on-field effect to destroy all of the opponent's monsters, so they cannot negate it with the Bamboozling Gossip Shadow. And, very important, usually Hugin would be able to protect cards on your side of the field, but if it would also be destroyed itself, it cannot protect anymore.
It's a very smart choice by Christopher to send the Aramaso to the graveyard, a card that you usually do not need immediately. Oh, Freezing Curses is being chained here, but I mean, yes, you might not be able to out the field of your opponent, but you can force another discard.
But one thing that would be incredibly painful would just be Mitsurugi Prayers chained to that. That would be so strong. Oh, wait. It's back in the hand. What's happening here?
What is the meaning of this?
I mean, clarifying maybe the chain links.
Oh, it looks like... Oh no, it looks like it actually is forced to stay in the hand there. We didn't activate it. Maybe we're already at resolving, and yes, we are indeed resolving. Bye-bye to our rank 3 and also to the Hugin. And now it will not be easy from here on out, because when we activate the Runick later on, we will also just have to discard another card due to that Murakumo now being on the field.
And I mean, we have said it plenty of times, when you play in the stream, you get very nervous and you feel the pressure. So it's logical for sometimes, you know, a misunderstanding can be happen when you activate cards into a tailing.
Maybe you just said okay too quickly and then you let the effects resolve. But now Florian back against the wall, still has the Freezing Curses in hand, can later on perhaps negate a card and then draw a bunch of cards, even though Murakumo is also really strong against that. And now that is so big, placed the Night Sword Serpent here.
I have an actual ruling question for you guys. We activated Pot of Extravagance at the start of main phase. Was Florian even allowed to use the Bamboozling Gossip Shadow? Because that makes both players draw a card. So he probably couldn't do that because his opponent wasn't allowed to draw any more cards because of Pot of Extravagance, right?
That's true.
Like, actually, with the Extravagance, we did not only get 2 cards, but we also sort of pseudo-negated the Bamboozling Gossip Shadow. That was huge.
So we have a droplet with Pot of Greed effect, sounds like.
That is so crazy. I would say the other way around. It's a Pot of Greed with a Forbidden Chalice as well in there. Yeah. Now, oh my goodness, look at this pre-preparation of rights as well. The cards just keep coming for Christopher here. And Florian basically passed to 1 impulse. Couldn't get out some draws with the Runick Fountain. I'm going to ask a very important question here about the deck. If you have Hugin in the extra monster zone, how do you get rid of it? Because a crucial part of the Runick strategies in the past were just synchro summoning away the Hugin from the extra monster zone and then summoning another one to get your draws in the first turn as well. How do you do this? I don't think there's tuners.
There should not be any tuners because there also is no synchro monsters in his extra deck, but you could just possibly go into Donner as a link monster, but that's not very good on your first turn, so that would only be into a field.
You can also summon SP and activate SP, target itself to banish.
Oh, that sounds...
Yeah, I mean...
interesting, but yeah, it does work.
An option,
okay, Mitsurugi Mirror now, and I mean, we haven't even addressed the fact that Christopher Nielsen is bringing that pure Mitsurugi deck. It's actually my deck that I picked to win the entire tournament. I think that deck right now is incredibly strong. Also, of course, profiting off of the fact that people are dropping Drone and Lockbirds in their main deck. Yeah. And with all kind of hybrid variants of the Mitsurugi deck being hit due to King of the Pharaohs no longer being allowed in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, this pure variant that obviously doesn't need to search for the Mitsurugi pieces is so much stronger now. Oh.
This looks incredible. You have 8 cards in hand and 5 monsters on the field. And now, Florian, are you fighting back or are you going into game 2 saying, hey, maybe with the side deck I have a better chance here, but you still have the Freezing Curses, you still have Corsair as well. You can do multiple things here, but there's also Ame no Mitsurugi no Murakumo. The other way around. Ame no Murakumo no Mitsurugi that can force you to discard another card. If it's a Runick card in your hand, fair play.
So, Christopher considering it. Oh, another Dominus Impulse! That's crazy. Still, though, Runick Fountain. And also the effect of the Crusea now activated. Does Dominus Impulse negate the activation of the card? That's what I was wondering about.
Negate the effect.
Oh, it negates the effect. Okay, so then the Runick Fountain, of course, can absolutely still be activated. But I think we're just reading our own Crusea. Like, I wasn't sure when I read the cards first whether they would activate on a new chain or whether they would immediately chain to the activation of the spell cards. So it seems like they're able to activate on a new chain here.
Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects.
Oh, that's a good one actually to have here in this situation.
Oh my days, yes.
Yeah.
If a quick play spell is activated, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand.
Oh.
I think this is on activation.
Now Magatama
is getting rid of the Runick Fountain. That is huge. Is there somehow a way to get a card into your own spell and trap zone here? I doubt it. I will say that much. Corsair, that would be crazy, or Crossair, if it just actually took the turn away. Mystical Space Typhoon is being added here.
Oh yes, that's how you do it. The classic one is onto the field, or for the moment in the hand, but it is in the game now.
That is crazy. This card adds a Radiant Typhoon card and a Mystical Space Typhoon.
You may as well.
That explains the level of the monster, I will say that.
It does, absolutely.
Now Florian is explaining, hey, as long as you don't have cards in your spell trap zone, this card cannot be destroyed. You should have waited with the Magatama for my Crossair, because that actually would work to destroy the Crossair.
But it can also not be destroyed by card effects.
Yeah, but if you activate the Magatama to destroy it, there is a card in your spell trap zone.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, true. But you can activate maybe... it's not going to be easy now. This one actually makes it tricky. I feel like Christopher may have caused a situation where he cannot end this game here this turn just yet. Still, great position to be in, as we are now heading into our main phase 2. Still certainly in the driver's seat here, I would say, but not winning it just yet. Going into Gallant Granite here. There's usually only one card in the first game that you're searching with this, and that is Nibiru, the Primal Being. That card does not seem that great against any kind of Runick deck, though, to be fair.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a +1, and you probably want to access SP Little Knight right now to banish the Crusade from the field, since she cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect, but she can be banished.
Yeah, wait, one thing that I just realized, isn't Magatama main phase only? Let me read up on Magatama.
I don't think it is, actually.
Magatama says during the main phase, like one of those effects. Yeah, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
And to clarify now is that Impulse has been activated, so Granite cannot activate the effects since we are locked by Impulse. That's why we reverse the game state and return Nibiru into the deck.
But I think the judges are now clarifying with the players that Magatami is in fact main phase only, so I think we have to rewind a little bit. Should we go back to us for a quick second to discuss how this match is unfolding so far?
Absolutely. Still in the battle phase now, as we have successfully rewinded the game state. We have drawn 2 cards with the Runick Fountain, and still with Crusea, we search the same cards that we originally planned on searching with the Mystical Space Typhoon and also the Vision.
I thought Phonix was the boss monster of Radiant Typhoon, but Crusea is putting in hours of work here, just not being able to be destroyed by card effects or battle if the spell and trap zone is empty. If you know about the deck, or if Christopher had taken the time to read the card because he knew it was there from the start, he could have just set one of his prayers.
Yeah, absolutely. That is indeed the case. And I've just been informed that we should just bring it back to us.
Okay,
there we go. We are now all sorted, as it looks like, and we can continue in the main phase 2. Christopher is grabbing his extra deck, and I think, like, it was the plan beforehand, so it should probably just still be the plan to go for that Gallant Granite, fetching that Nibiru, or maybe not.
You have impulsed.
Oh, you're right.
And I mean, right now, it is very scary to give to a Radiant Typhoon Runick deck the option to go another turn and have so many cards in the hand, right? I would be very, very scared.
But there is no battle phase for Florian in the next turn. That is very important. But setting cards there against Mystical Space Typhoon. 4 cards. Christopher just has it all. Spells, monsters, whatever. But Florian, of course, also sitting there with so many cards.
Runick flashing fire. That's the power of the Runicks. Just in the end phase even. Making sure that because Runick Fountain is on the field, we can go after those cards.
Wait a second. Not only that, he has plenty of monsters as well in his hand that he could chain to this. Okay, Murakumo was chained, of course. So we're discarding a Radiant Typhoon monster, but you should be able to.
3. On the new chain, we now get to activate our Radiant Typhoon, and that is the power. Like, Runicks on their own, already always being able to trigger Fountain on resolved drawing cards, that was crazy enough. But now, additionally, also getting a big monster, in that case, the Radiant Typhoon Phoenix, the Great Flame, is massive.
This card is insane. If you have one more spell card that you could activate in this turn, that would be crucial, because this card targets 2 cards on the field and shuffles them into the deck. So if you have another Runick card, use it here. No. We're going to pass here on the side of Christopher. Florian is picking up his cards and finds one that he does not want in this situation.
I mean, it's an easy discard for Murakumo in worst case scenario.
That is a very good point, yeah.
That's true. But there is the trap card. Christopher has the trap card set, the Great Purification, and you may as well, he says. He tributes the Murakumo, and that's tough, really. Maybe we should have just gamble a little bit and tried the Mystical Space Typhoon first, hopefully just hitting the Great Purification so we make sure that our vision could resolve, because I don't know how much more we get to do after this. Going to search for the Mitsurugi prayers as we have used the effect of our Murakumo, and I think we're scooping things up. Game 1 eventually does go to...
It's now that I think more of it, I wouldn't play Shifter.
No, I would absolutely not. Okay, now though, second chance for Florian. Match absolutely not over yet. Still 2 more games to be played. We have hard drawn the Runick Fountain. That can sometimes be pretty good. And we have another Runick to pair it up with. Flashing Fire, ready to special summon something out. We still go for the Hugin, and I am pretty certain that we... Do we activate the Hugin? Because we are playing 2 Runick Fountains. We do. We drew the Mystical Space Typhoon as well. I don't think that's the card you necessarily want to draw, because you can search it so freely in this deck. But we do now get to go for Chain Link free here even. We're searching for the Fountain, we're special summoning out the Crusea, and we get to draw a card with the Runick Fountain on top of it too.
Doesn't look ideal, but still sounds kind of strong. Although I thought that maybe if you already have the Fountain, you want to summon Moon in, because then you can easily go for your rank 3 place and free up that extra monster zone if you're not forced to make Hugin. Do we play Moon in?
We do absolutely not play Moon in.
Wow.
How the times has changed, right?
I thought I was onto something there, because the level 3 just special summoning in that zone, if you have the Fountain already, seems really strong in that deck.
Yeah. Doesn't seem too bad. Now we get to just grab from the deck the card that provides us with extra draw power here, the Radiant Typhoon Vision. And that, of course, we are going to just activate. We're trying to get more... are we? Yeah, we're shuffling our deck, okay. But didn't we have... Oh yeah, we searched this. So for a moment I was questioning whether we should have a Runick on the bottom of the deck, but we do not. So we just get to draw 2 cards, and one of them was, I think, Runick Tip. And we have a fresh Runick Fountain still in the hand, so that's massive. That is so good.
We're discarding Phoenix, and that is super interesting. You might now think, hey, this is one of the key cards of the strategy. Why are we discarding this? This card can special summon itself back from the graveyard if you activate Mystical Space Typhoon. Wow.
Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2, so in total we're banishing 4 cards. Do we hit anything valuable here? Double Preparation of Rites, Aramasa, and look at that, Ghost Spell Haunted Mansion. Told you all, that card is good. And we do get to draw 2 more cards. What are we going to get? Maybe more Radiant Typhoon cards, maybe some tools from our side deck as well that could help us here. What are we going to get? Okay, searches for Freezing Curses.
That we need just to draw cards in order to access our side deck and find cards, for example, any going first option that Florian has choose to side in this particular matchup.
Did we start with Freezing Curses? Have we activated Freezing Curses this turn already? Because...
No. Start with Flashing Fire.
We drew a card that's so crazy to draw there.
My days.
And speaking of drawing into our side deck, I think that we saw the cards that really wanted to draw into. And Florian is 1 step ahead. is ready for activating one of the most devastating cards in the game for the last years, Harpy's Featherstorm. It is one of those cards that, yes, you really don't want to face.
The face of Christopher right now. He saw a field with two set cards there.
Chains Mystical Space Typhoon on his own. Harpy's Featherstorm. That is funny, but that does absolutely work because now we have activated, of course, a quick play spell card, which on resolution now will give us a chance to use more of our Radiant Typhoon monsters from the hand. I love this. Just chaining Mystical Space Typhoon to destroy a card, which would be destroyed anyways.
And you can chain it to get cards out of your graveyard as well, because you have the Phonics in there that can just be special summoned from the graveyard by activating Mystical Space Typhoon.
So, what are the chain links, Florian? Oh, yep. Oh, we got the Varu rune as well. So we got both of our big monsters, both of the level 9s now onto the field. What a setup here for Florian. I think this is as good as it gets, really. Having both of the big ones, having Runics in hand, hopefully, as well. Oh yeah, we searched for the Freezing Curse, so there definitely is another Runic. That is looking good here.
Question is, was that not a little bit of an overextension after you activated the Harpy's Featherstorm already? What is there to come? If your opponent going second has Breakers in his deck and he's Raigeki, you know, you lose two very important cards. You could have kept the Mystical Space Typhoon and use it in the end phase, perhaps.
Maybe, yeah. I get what you mean, for sure. Seems reasonable, but now Christopher, does he have cards like Raigeki? Checking his graveyard. For a second, it almost looked like he would be conceding, but no, we may as well try again with Pot of Extravagance. In game number 1, we have already drawn 2 cards, and we're doing that again. Pot of Greed all over one more time.
And it's very important that Mystical Space Typhoon is in the graveyard, since now all the Radiant monsters have gained the second effect and boost their own effects. And I want to see if, as you said, Leo, Christopher will draw into a potential Raigeki, for example, or a Dark Hole in order to deal with this field.
Oh, we
but
passed.
We passed turn,
and
yes.
now, of course, it's good. Christopher can just approach this slowly, as we do not have a battle phase this turn. Florian sets another card, and we just want to go back to the next turn. I'm pretty sure we announced that we skipped the battle phase, and now it's back to Christopher.
Harpy's Featherstorm is surprisingly less effective than I thought it would be.
If you don't have a battle phase, yes, but if you have a battle phase, for example, now that we can ritual summon, a card may be chained.
Oh my days.
Florian, I think you may... Oh, he did not chain it.
Yeah, I mean, he can wait for to see the targets that will be...
But now there is the Murakumo on the field, and you will have to discard an extra card to activate that good old reliable Harpy's Featherstorm. So I don't know whether I like that too much, to be honest. But let's see.
Maybe negating a card helps you at some point here. But yes, another Harpy's Featherstorm is just so crucial, having both of those. And I want to see how Christopher handles that situation.
Look at him. Okay, he does chain the Murakumo. Okay, we just waited for a chance to activate our last Runic. Leo, I think you were onto something with the fact that we cannot get rid of the Hugin on our side of the field in the extra monster zone.
If we have prayers right now.
But now we don't have a battle phase again.
Yeah, and if you had prayers, then Murakumo would be out of the field, it would not be negated, and then Harpy's Featherstorm would have been negated. It was a very risky play from Florian's side of the...
True, all my days.
I think, did he not have another card in hand? Is there 0 cards in hand right now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually crazy, yeah. You're right. That would have been heartbreaking, yeah.
And now Christopher is putting back the Murakumo because of Phonics, of course. Phonics can now...
But as you mentioned, Leo, I want to see how Runick can deal with this. Meaning that, yes, you activated Harpy's Featherstorm, yes, you get another turn, but is it enough? Meaning that you still don't have a battle phase. You cannot end the match right now.
I think that was the most crucial part for me in the last turn, that it takes away your battle phase again, and at this point it feels like you are going minus on your own cards.
Oh, this could be the moment we do go for the SP Little Knight, though. And yes, indeed, SP Little Knight on the monster that Christopher sat. Bye-bye to the Serpent.
Oh, Banished Serpent has been crazy in 2005 already, so this is a massive turn for him.
He goes back over to Christopher. After seeing seeing Happiest Featherstorm resolve, you do not expect the game to go for that long anymore. Another pot of extravagance here. Is Christopher really getting back into this game? How many are we banishing here even?
Sorry, I want my Time Wizard enjoyers in chat here. Banishing a set Serpent is crazy in 2025.
So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Only 3 cards remaining in the extra deck, but that's the beauty of the pure Mitsurugi deck. You do not necessarily need the extra deck to already do so many good things. Murakumo on its own is such a big threat already.
Is that his hand or his graveyard? At this point, I don't know anymore because Christopher has resolved so many cards that give him extra cards.
And I mean, I really love the fact that Christopher has been hit with double Harvey Featherstorm, and yet he's still on the driving seat right now, and he can actually push for game, to be honest.
Yeah, it looks so good for him after being double Feather Dusted. This activation of the Freezing Curses just to get a draw was perhaps a little bit too greedy. Also, we have to take a look at the clock. We are approaching the 20-minute mark here, and we're still only in game 2. I think this is Christopher's turn to push for a lot of advantage here. But versus the Runick deck, you never know which cards they have in their hand.
Yeah.
You can activate the spell cards as well.
Oh. We carefully looked through all of the resources that were banished and that are already in the graveyard. So every Mitsurugi effect right now, we need to know whether there even is a target. For that one, it's quite obvious because Kusanagi just... Oh my God. You gotta be kidding me! This is Harpiest Featherstorm number 3. How is that? Like, we drew 1 card every turn and always just was the Featherstorm, and this is the one that seals it now. And his pure Mitsurugi deck. Sometimes in the past, we have seen pure Mitsurugi decks go for a side deck, Fossil, Dyna, Pacifical. Oh, God, I always... Pachi. I call him Pachi. I like my guy Pachi. Oh, normal summon Saji is not the start you're hoping for.
But it's also not the worst, no? I mean...
to be fair, it is one of those cards that you really don't want to normal summon into pure Mitsurugi strategy.
It really ain't that great, but when it goes through uninterrupted, it does still do the trick, and we have already the Murakumo in the hand to ritual summon.
I think y'all are worrying way too much there. I think he's absolutely fine right now.
So the problem with Saji is that it's not a one-card combo.
The Serpent!
Okay,
that hand was not great, my friend.
Okay, okay, but if you're uninterrupted, that still works. What is happening?
Oh,
Meowls
okay.
is being used on the Serpent. That's crazy. And you have to discard another card here. Dispelling. But it's a Runick in the graveyard, right?
It's alright, I guess. We draw a card here.
What do you expect Meowls for this YCS?
No.
It is one of those cards that have been out of the meta due to Malice not to be so competitive like before, but as we can see right here, it's pretty good against the Mitsurugi. Obviously, they can play around it, but it's a very interesting option.
I feel like it's alright against Mitsurugi, and it's decent even against Yami, I would say, because against Yami you can even hold it for your own turn, wait for them to summon back from the graveyard. You could also technically just activate it on their turn, of course, because it interacts with the field spell too, but they can just always find a way to play around it a little bit, so it's weird.
Main issue with the card is against those decks, it gets you 1 or 2 draws, so it's fine to activate it. I don't think it's worth the side deck space. Or the main deck space, because you could have high impact cards.
Hear me out. You can play a Field Breaker deck with Meowls. And just hold Meowls for your turn. It can work.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I can see that.
Okay, we get to search for Purification. That's always good to get. But honestly, that opening hand from Christopher was really, really, really vulnerable. I think if there would have just been a singular Infinite Impermanence or something, it would have just immediately been a problem for him, and he may have passed without any major moves.
I think Christopher used Habakiri and then sent off the Murakumo.
Is he going to special summon him though?
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing, because that is not great into Meowls.
Looks like he does not. Looks like he just simply keeps it in the graveyard. Yeah, he says it as well. We're not going to do any of that. Now Mitsurugi Ritual is going to Ritual summon from the deck. Is there just another Murakumo coming maybe? Because we are playing multiple copies in this.
I think if you're setting up your Murakumo in the graveyard, Futsu is the logical choice here. Go from the deck, sends the Habakiri from hand, or tributes the Habakiri from hand so we can trigger it. Of course, it wasn't special summoned correctly before, so you cannot special summon it here.
Oh, and we search for Magatama. That's so nice. When you get the Mitsurugi cards going and you have those niche cards in your deck like Magatama, like Purification, and you just have the opportunity to search multiple times, that is so insanely strong. Now that's a link to, which should be IP Masquerena now as well. Huge field. Looks like it may be good enough. IP Masquerena into SP Little Knight or Dynamondo, always so good because it, with both the SP Little Knight and the Dynamondo, it deals with the card in a way that cannot go back into the graveyard. Oh, look, we're just revealing what we have there. We have all the options, all the different interruptions. And
we don't have prayers, which may be important, to be fair, to play around to the runic spells. But I think this is a very, very solid field from Christopher's side.
And the Saji, still sticking to the game plan. Saji, his strongest trooper here, still staying on the field. I told you, not only was this a great start, it's also a great card to end your field on. Quote me on this.
Oh, okay. Draw phase, I think, is where we immediately go ahead and use the visions. Or is it Chant this time? This looks a lot more Chant. Yeah, this is, I think, Radiant Typhoon Chant this time. I was wrong in game 1, but this time around it is that one. And that one is just going to search for a Radiant Typhoon monster from our deck. A level 4 or lower, though, so we cannot get the big ones. We cannot get the Varurune or the Phonix.
Actually grabs Mystical Space Typhoon.
Oh, that's the other. I wasn't even mentioning that because I thought no way we're getting Mystical Space Typhoon, but that is also technically something we can do. And this time, we should have maybe done this in game 2. But this time we try to just go after the trap card and we do hit it. That's huge. Massively well-timed Mystical Space Typhoon there because that just traded with an Omni Negate.
And I mean, when you take the 50-50, you really feel very, very happy when you hit the correct card.
Yes, that's you. Okay, normal summon Radiant Typhoon Eldam.
Okay, doesn't want to go for a possible special summon here to not trigger the Futsu. I think he has Freezing Curses in hand, so that could be used to negate Futsu. Maybe preemptively activated, so the Magatama isn't bothering you that much. Can't dodge it. But then again, it just gets it back.
Yeah, but that's always dangerous, targeting anything with the Freezing Curses when there's IP Masquerena around, right? Because they just chain the IP Masquerena. Oh yeah, fair. Yeah, they could have done that. You're right. But not the case here. Oh yeah, Christopher is also reading up on the graveyard effect. That is something that they can activate in the draw phase, though. They could have just dodged the Freezing Curses bad way around. Because we can just special summon out a reptile from the graveyard. And then, oh, look at that. And then tribute a different one.
Or tributes the Saji to get perhaps prayers as follow-up or another Mitsurugi ritual. You can special summon the Murakumo from the graveyard if you want.
Yeah, I think that's probably the case, just to destroy any monster on the field on Florian's side and just be able then to access his SP later in the main phase 2.
Yeah, it was just a weird sequencing there because you are supposed to special summon something and then tribute something else, but now we have all figured it out. The Murakumo comes back, the Saji goes into the graveyard, and it can now even use its effect, of course, which is massive. So we were trying to go into the battle phase, running over the IP Masquerena to get rid of that interruption, but now with the Murakumo coming onto the field, we can just get that monster off the field.
But how good is that really? Because that's a very early Murakumo, and now the Futsu, while it still generates an incredible amount of value, which is possibly crazy versus Runic decks that cannot OTK easily, or at all basically, your interruptions are out very, very early in the game, or in the turn.
Well, you're not really worried that much about big fields with a Runic deck though, right? So maybe it's okay to have that out early. I feel like the IP Masquerena into SP Little Knight or Dynamondo is just such a strong move that you just really value that more right now. But
I mean, for the SP Little Knight, you can just use Futsu at some point, get the Kusanagi back and add back more resources, and then go into SP.
Oh, okay. Freezing Curses. We could still possibly be in the battle phase, so maybe this is our way to deal with the IP Masquerena.
Let's
preemptively using it, or are we summoning? We could also be summoning, I guess.
Yeah. Murakumo is being used as an answer here.
Oh, we're discarding Swen. And now, I mean, there is also the Sleipnir, and Sleipnir is 1500, so we could just try to attack over the IP Masquerena here. That doesn't sound too bad either.
I mean, I don't think you can attack after activating Runic cards.
I mean, we're in the battle phase, I would assume.
You can attack, but you cannot access your battle phase, so since you are initially in the battle phase, you can still attack.
Okay, we're using the effect of Hugin, and we're also using the effect of Crosea, but there's not many cards left in hand here for Florian anymore. Resources aren't that great anymore. We use the effect of our Futsu now to get back the Kusanagi. This is not looking too fantastic right now for Florian, but he keeps on trying. He keeps on pushing into this field here of Christopher.
I mean, Crusea gives you a Mystical Space Typhoon and a other card that you can get. So you could get Visions and Mystical Space Typhoon and perhaps try and draw into a Runick card if you have the Fountain developed. This could be your way to get back into this, to get all the value that you want.
Yes, but do not forget that Christopher still has some interaction in his side of the field that can deal with Fountain. If Fountain leaves the field, Florian has very less resources in his hand, meaning that he has a lot of cards to discard, and with Murakumo on the field, he needs to discard one card plus in each turn.
Okay, we get the Mystical Space Typhoon back from the graveyard too. That Mystical Space Typhoon has done so much work already. And we now go after the known Magatama as well. And also that one cannot be activated anymore, as this is, of course, probably still the battle phase, I would assume.
When did we go into the battle phase? I thought we were still in draw phase. Oh, are we going into a SP Little Knight now already? Taking care of the Murakumo. Now Futsu wants to activate, so apparently the freezing curses have not been used on the Futsu. This is one of those instances where I wished that we could hear the players talk.
Okay, SP Little Knight banishes both the IP Masquerena and the Murakumo, but we get back the Aramasa as well now due to the Futsu. Okay.
Now, you get two draws. You need to find
we need a Runick.
Spell.
We need a Runick desperately.
And another quick play spell, because if you have to discard one of those, otherwise you will lose your entire hand. This is basically a Lure of Darkness.
Oh, I think we found Flashing Fire. That's
and you get to discard a Radiant Typhoon card as well. Flashing Fire here on the Futsu. Kusanagi. I think all of these small Mitsurugi monsters have the protection effect that if original monster would be destroyed, you can destroy them instead. Something like this.
And I really like the interaction between SP and IP. So SP was summoned targeting Murakumo to banish, then IP was activated to link summon. However, SP targeting the IP and the SP eventually to banish until the end phase. So IP could not fulfill her effect.
Okay, boys. 1, 2, 3. Just a casual draw free. We know it from Runick Fountain, but we haven't seen it in a while. But do we get something that is valuable here? Do we get something that helps us? Because next time all the resources are still there for Christopher. We are in the end phase immediately. That's no good news. Because now that will allow Christopher to push back into this.
Christopher pushing back into this. He has 5 cards in hand. Now it's 6. He has plenty of resources. One of the best monsters of the entire deck theme on the field, Futsu. This is looking good for Christopher. And keep in mind, he has battle phases.
Yes.
And to be fair, since it's a pure Mitsurugi build, we can assume that there is another Murakumo in his deck, and it's not the only copy that was banished, right? So I think now Christopher has a lot of options to go through. And I think if you manage to access NSP in order to deal with Fountain, you're in a very, very good place.
Okay, we're not going for game this turn then, but also the deck, even if you only play one Murakumo, you can access it by recycling your Kusanagi. It also, we have seen this earlier, takes the banished cards back to your hand. So those aren't even problems that have been dealt with permanently from the side of Florian. SP is now chaining to Futsu? Target Futsu?
We got it. We got to target the Futsu. But I mean, they could still just chain the Little Knight.
But you have, I think you have freezing curses in your hand.
But they don't even need to chain the Little Knight, to be fair.
I think the plan is here, SP Little Knight, target Futsu, and then, okay, you would never ever activate SP Little Knight in response to that, right?
That doesn't seem very good.
On
the other end, the freezing curses,
spot.
getting the freezing curses out of the hand would be nice, right? Like the Fountain is not on the field anymore afterwards, so...
Oh wait, if you get the freezing curses off, and afterwards, after SP has been activated, you don't get rid of the Runick Fountain.
Oh yeah, chaining the SP here is no way on earth you would do that. Christopher is thinking about it.
He's taking a quick look into the crowd. I think we are discussing something with the judges. So for the moment, why don't we bring it on back? Massive shout-outs to the judges there. We could see it on our other screen. Very complicated scenario to reverse this game state, but they did it with a great job here. So phenomenal. And now
okay, we can use the Flashing Fire on the IP Masquerena. We get to use the effect of Runick Fountain now too, drawing 3 cards. I mean, those are now just different cards that we're getting to draw. Let's see.
That is crazy. All right. Christopher is now cutting the deck. Let's see what Florian gets.
Oh.
Maybe those are the cards that he always wanted.
1, 2, 3. Can we work with this, Florian? Is this what we were desiring? It looks like we just passed. Okay.
Yeah.
No activations, no further activations. I mean, there's not much we can go into because the Hugin cannot be linked up, as we just saw. So we will have to pass on this. And now it's on Christopher. Does he start with the SP Little Knight again? He was already trying to do that last turn, but this time maybe it is his move. SP Little Knight, when using a ritual monster, just doesn't really help you though, right?
Yeah.
Because it cannot use its own summon effect. Okay, Mitsurugi prayers. I don't think he's tributing. Did he tribute anything?
Kusanagi.
Oh, the Kusanagi. Okay, yeah, it's in the graveyard there, right?
I mean, right now you don't need to access your SP Little Knight to deal with fountains. Since you have a lot of resources on the field and you can go for game. And it's not only the motions on the field, but also I think 4 or 5 cards in the hand. So I think right now Christopher can extend a lot and go for game. However, it also depends on Florian's hand, if he has a Runick card and if he activates it to draw new cards, and we can see a potential new game state.
Maybe we have reached a point again, though, where Christopher is possibly overwhelmed by his options. It feels like he has his entire deck in his hand. So he might as well... let's see. I trust in Christopher that he can capitalize on those situations.
He is a seasoned duelist for sure, so he will find a solution to this. I am almost certain. Checks the graveyard here from Florian again. Doesn't want to make a mistake, but that is a Link summon. Is that still SP Little Knight, or do we just go into Dynamondo here, maybe? It is the Dynamondo, of course. And that can also just go after the Runick Fountain. That's what we do. No response even. That's crazy. Because that means there probably is no more Runicks in the hand of Florian.
And I mean, in this scenario, when you don't have Fountain on the field, you can play so much freely, because now you don't fear potential new draws or potential interaction yet that you don't know about. And I think right now Christopher is in a very, very good spot.
I was surprised that he did not tribute the Murakumo from his field to summon it back and then destroy something, and setting a card before, so the Radiant Typhoon.
No, we're not having a problem with the Crusea again. It looks like we're in the battle phase. You gotta be kidding me. No. We already had that situation game 1, Christopher. You read that Crusea. It cannot be destroyed. Wait. Do we have Mystical Space Step in the graveyard? We have, right?
We can activate. It depends on your opponent not having spell or trap cards.
Oh, also true. Yeah, you're right.
Oh wait, also I think it's also with Mystical Space Step on the trap card. That's right. Wait, now I have to read the card again. I'm going to get it up for you guys at home as well.
I think
it's only no spell traps.
In main phase 2 again.
I think he might just think this card cannot be destroyed by spell or traps. Or attacks.
Magatama would have been the easy answer to this, but we did not find it. So turn goes back to Florian. Only 7.5 minutes remaining. That's not very much, and we have found another tool. We have found another vision, so that can provide us with more cards. And we're drawing 2 cards. Here we go.
Florian is picking up even more resources. This is again a turn where he might not have a battle phase, which is funnily enough playing against the evenly matched that he just picked up. But now he would have to probably discard another visions, right?
But to be fair, his hand has 3 dead draws, right? And with discarding another card, right now, there's only 1 live card, to be fair.
Ooh, sets a card. That's not a great sign, and we're passing back over. At least we're trying to end the main phase.
Now Dynamondo activates here and gets back the Murakumo. Now you have plenty of cards in your spell trap zones. Crusea gets destroyed. Christopher gets to draw a card. 1 set card. 6 minutes left remaining. Christopher has plenty of attack points on the field. Not quite enough to go for a game because IP Masquerader's attack is quite measly, but
okay,
we're just attacking.
I mean, we surely have prayers, right? And then prayers can just make this enough attack points overall.
And I think that Christopher had just drew into an impulse, so we can see Florian.
Even that, yeah, that's crazy.
I would believe that Florian would activate the Runick spell that has set in order to special summon from the extra deck, and then impulse will play a very crucial role if Christopher indeed drew into impulse.
So checking the graveyard, but if there is Mitsurugi prayers, this is an easy way to just seal this. We're not summoning back the Murakumo with the prayers, but we're summoning it back with its own effect, and then it can, in fact, attack again, bypassing the restriction of our prayers. It is Dominus Impulse and the win for Christopher Nielsen.